Hi everyone, I cannot believe that it is December already, but here we are. For the month of December, as we wrap up 2022, I just decided to talk about the four main parts of health. There's basically four pillars. We have our spiritual being, our emotional being, our mental being, and our physical being. So a lot of times we spend a lot of time on physical because obviously it's all we can see, and you can definitely tell the impacts of choices that you're making impacting your physical body. So that's actually what this video is going to talk about. I'm going to get into some nutrition and just physical kind of things, and then the other videos will get into the other three. So I'll talk about mental and emotional and spiritual health in those videos. So let's jump into physical health. Obviously, I'm sure that you know I'm going to talk about your diet. If you missed last month, I talked all about digestion and I shared lots of information on digestion. That's very important, but obviously you also want to be eating good for you food, right? You want to make sure that you're staying away from as much fast food and processed and things that you don't know what you're eating. If you can't tell what you're eating based on flavors or maybe reading the ingredients, it's not something that you should be eating at all. Always try to stay as close to nature as possible. If you can prepare your own meals at home, that is awesome. You also want to make sure you're getting some amount of exercise, especially if you work in a setting where you're sitting a lot. Setting a timer so you get up and you're moving at least once an hour will kind of break your body from that mentality that it is time to almost go to sleep, right? You're in almost a dormant phase when you're just sitting and not doing anything or doing like minimal movement as you're working at your desk. I am a stay-at-home mom, so my exercise throughout the day involves chasing around my kids and catching things that my toddler's throwing, making sure they're not hurting themselves, preparing meals. Those kinds of things are how I incorporate movement into my day. If you don't have that in your life, you want to be intentional about moving in some way throughout your day, at least once an hour. You want to also make sure you're getting enough sleep. I am super guilty of not doing this, but sleep is your body's time where it resets and kind of gets everything back to how it needs to be. Your organs need to do things overnight while you're sleeping. Your body needs that break. Your brain needs that break. It's kind of a soft reset for your body so you're refreshed and able to start the next day. It's recommended that you get 8 to 7 hours. That doesn't mean you're laying in your bed 8 to 7 hours. That means you are sleeping 8 to 7 hours. So whatever you have to do to get your body the most sleep, that's going to make you be the healthiest physically that you can be. And sleep does trickle into a few of the other categories too, but we'll get into that in the other videos. You also want to make sure that you're drinking as much water as you can. I've always heard that it's half your body weight in fluid ounces. So if you weigh 100 pounds, that's 50 fluid ounces. Recently, I've stumbled upon some research that suggests that maybe we shouldn't be drinking just plain water because that can kind of flush things out of our body that we need. So I've started adding some electrolytes into my water. My company sells these little squirt things. I'm sure you've seen them in the grocery stores. These are the toxin-free version that you can just squirt into your water. And then I've been adding also some Himalayan pink salt for minerals. So I'm replenishing my electrolytes and minerals as I'm drinking water. I'm not just drinking straight water. That's a new thing. I just started that maybe 3 weeks ago. And then also you want to take supplements because even if you're eating healthy and you even have your own garden or you're getting things organic, our food that we're eating today is not as beneficial and nutritious as it used to be just because of farming practices. We're depleting our soil. We're not rotating crops like we should usually. And there's just a lot of things lacking in the soil. So the broccoli that we're eating today is not as nutritious as the broccoli people ate 50 years ago, for example. So you want to take supplements and make sure that you're taking wholesome supplements. I just saw on the news that Big Pharma has purchased supplement companies, and that just broke my heart. So make sure your supplements that you're getting are from a reputable source and they have zero things to do with the big pharma companies and the big pharma industry because they only want to keep you sick. That's their whole name in the game because then they make lots of money. That's a whole nother video. So supplements kind of fill in those holes, those gaps of even though you're eating healthy and doing all the things, you're still missing some things. Those supplements kind of fill in the gaps. And I do have a friend who used to be a pharmacist, and she recommends spreading your supplements out throughout the day. So if you take 4 different supplements, you probably shouldn't take all 4 of them at breakfast. So spread them out. Say, take some at breakfast and some at lunch, maybe even some at dinner, or some with your snacks, just so there's a little bit of separation there for your body to process all of that. Because if it can't process it, it's just going to get rid of it, and then you're just flushing your supplements down the toilet, which no one wants to do. So let's dig into a few of these just a little bit more. For your diet, you want to make sure you're eating real food. I touched on this before. If you want just a very basic thing, when you go into your grocery store, the perimeter of the grocery store is where you should be spending a majority of your time. Those are the things that are not processed. They're going to go bad, with the exception of like beans and rice and vinegar and things. The stuff in the inside aisles are not good for you. They're full of preservatives and yucky things to help them stay shelf stable. There's a reason that your jar of peanut butter or your box of cereal can sit on the shelf for a year. It's got lots of stuff in there to make sure it doesn't go bad. And that stuff is not exactly great for your body. Eat real food whenever you can. You also want to make sure you're eating good fats like the avocado and the dark chocolate and chia seeds and coconut oil, coconuts, full fat yogurt. Please don't get fat-free and diet things. That's a whole nother video. Just know that your body knows what to do with real sugar. If you're going to eat the cake, just eat the cake. Just don't do it all the time. Little surprises and happy celebrations every once in a while is one thing. Having a piece of cake every night before bed is totally another. So if you're gonna eat the cake, just eat the full fat cake. If you're gonna have the yogurt, eat the full fat yogurt, because I guarantee you the other stuff that says it's low fat is full of other things to make it taste good, because our bodies want fat. Whole fat, good fats are actually good for your body. I'm pretty sure I've done a video on that, but I'm blanking on what the name is, so can't help you out there. You want to be reading the ingredients of the things that you are purchasing and putting inside your body. A good rule of thumb is 5 or less ingredients, which is super hard to find in most processed foods. Although some companies I feel like are getting a little bit of the message, because consumers do play a huge part in companies and how they create things. So as the consumer becomes smarter and more health conscious, the company has to adjust. So if you're reading the ingredients and you're not buying things with a ton of ingredients, that company's gonna eventually, hopefully, make some changes. And I have seen some different things in like the snack aisles that are 5 ingredients or less. And I'm like, oh, they are paying attention. So that's always exciting find when you have that. Another little rule of thumb or little saying, if you need something to help you remember: if it was made in a plant, don't buy it. If it comes from a plant, definitely eat it. Just stay close to nature. You want to avoid MSG, high fructose corn syrup, and sugar at all costs. Those 3 things were the first 3 things that we cut out to the best of our ability when we started looking into our pantry and making some major changes. Those 3 things are very harmful for your body. There's a ton of different studies and things. I won't bore you with all the statistics. Just know that they are bad for you, and they either make you want to eat more, or they promote things to grow in your body that shouldn't be in there, or they just stress out your body because it doesn't know what it is. Unfortunately, you can't just look for those 3 words in the ingredient list, because the food industry is very aware that the consumers are looking for certain words, so they like to change the names. And you just have to either know the names, carry a list around, or just know what the ingredients are that you're buying. If it looks like it was made in a lab and it's like 18 letters long, chances are it's probably not a natural ingredient. I touched on movement. You want to make sure you're not sitting for a long period of time. I talked about setting a timer. If you are sitting for an hour or more, set a timer. Even if it's just to get up and walk around the office for a little bit, or if you're at home, get up out of your office, walk into the kitchen and get a handful of nuts or a drink of water, or go outside, sit in the sunshine for 5 or 10 minutes. Just simple, quick things that can kind of interrupt that sitting time. I read some other article where they said sitting is the new smoking, but they've since refuted that. So they kind of go back and forth. But sitting for a long period of time and doing very minimal movement is bad for your body. Just simple movement, quick movements are fine. If you are really into like working out and doing the whole gym thing, more power to you. That is awesome. Getting your heart rate pumping, your blood flowing. Sweating is really good. It actually helps to release toxins from your body. It's one of the ways that your body can detox. There's like 7 different ways. Sweating is one of them. You want to make sure you're getting enough rest. I did say that 7 to 9 hours, depending on your age and a few other things. And then I just wanted to drop a couple essential oils because if you've watched probably any of my videos, you've heard me talk about essential oils. The two top essential oils that I use for anything digestive are peppermint and ginger, and I apply them right on my stomach. I don't dilute them. You can dilute them, but I don't. Laziness, I don't know what it is. I just put it straight on. The peppermint is going to give you a little tingling sensation, and it might even cool you down a little bit. Might be an extra bonus if you're naturally hot person. Ginger is going to help with digestion, and it can even help with some nausea and things like that, nauseous feelings. So those are my top two essential oils that I grab whenever I'm having digestive issues. So that's kind of like my spiel on physical health. If you're keeping all of those areas in check, we talked about diet, exercise, sleep, water, taking supplements, and all of those things. If you're keeping all of those things to the best of your ability in check, and you're intentional about what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're not doing, then that area of your body will be in its best state, and the physical health will be as great as you can possibly make it. So the next videos, I'm going to get into the other areas of our body, and if you are watching this and I just posted it, you'll have to stay tuned. But if you're watching this and I've already posted it, you can check those out on my page.